It just puts a smile on my face every single day. I love it. Hi folks, and welcome back to the channel. If you saw last week's update, you'll know that it was all getting a little bit much, and it's just so crazy how you can look away for a few seconds and a plot that you feel like you're really on top of can just go. It can just absolutely shoot away from you, rocket away. But this weekend I spent a lot of time up the plot, as much time as I possibly could, and it's been so beautiful. It's still not perfect by any means, but it's about as good as it gets. So today we've got the time, and that's, I think, one of my favourite things about this time of year. You can properly enjoy the evenings. You know, we've still got light until like 9, 10 o'clock. I was up here yesterday just getting stuck into the jobs until 9 o'clock, and it was bliss. It was so nice. So we've got the time today. We can have a proper nice tour and a proper just chat about everything that's going on. And so we'll start the tour on the top bed as we normally do. I did give this a little foghorn there for you. You can tell I live nearby the sea. And we gave these a little sneak peek last week, but we'll have a little look here. You can see these beetroot, they're spaced way too close. I did these in a line, and I don't know where I got that idea from. You're not really meant to. You normally grow these like spaced apart, but we've got a line, and I'm kind of thinning out as I go. There's still a few weeds in here. Look at this one. But, you know, they're looking okay. They'll come true as long as I thin them out and they don't all try and grow in this small space. At the back we've got the radishes here. These have been really good, cropping these. I can't believe how quickly they grow. They were like my first crop, so that was lovely. They have been affected by something eating them, and I can't see any on here at the moment, but I'm fairly confident that that something is the flea beetle. And I'm not sure if you've seen those before, but they really like brassicas. There's a plant over here that I think is a volunteer pak choi or bok choy. I did have some of that go to seed on the allotment last year, so I think that's what that is. And you can see they've absolutely gone crazy for those. Although that might be a pigeon as well. I bet that's a pigeon. Anyway, the flea beetles, tiny little black beetles. And I think I got a video a little week ago or so of one going to town on these radishes. And they're really hard to get rid of. Neem oil sort of deters them, but not really. But yeah, they're little devils, and they jump like fleas and get away from you. The lettuce that I put in is exploding. This has just been in maybe 2 weeks now, coming up to a week and a half, something like that. And these are really starting to put on some growth, starting to get established. We've got the spring onions in here as well. These are looking pretty healthy now. These were a September planting, I think. I planted these back September, August, and they're looking okay. I mean, they're kind of ready for cropping, I guess. I don't really know when I'm gonna take them, but over here as well, a load of new ones down there that have come up. So I'm quite happy with that. So we should have a little bit of succession. Hopefully I can kind of crop those and replant something. But the question that maybe you've all been waiting for is, how are the carrots? And I spent a lot of time painstakingly going through this bed, which was so weedy. And you can see we've got a scattering. It's not really lines. In here, I don't know what's happened. I think this might be the first sowing. I had really bad luck with my carrots. As you know, I first sowed some around kind of March, I think it was, and a month later there was nothing. So then I sowed some April, and I mean 2 months later now, we finally got, there's sort of 4 lines. I know I definitely did 4 lines. There's one here, and then something in the middle, one here, and then one here, and they're all different kinds. So hopefully we might get some carrots, which is actually really cool, because I mean I've not fretted about them. I've not been worried about carrots because I'm not too bothered if I don't get any, but it was very frustrating to have planted so many and for them to have taken so long. Next bed down, we've got the potatoes. And the first earlies on the right, these are kind of crammed into this quite small bed. And you might be able to tell that I planted the first earlies a little too close together. We put a little too many in this trench. I was kind of hoping it wouldn't be too obvious, but you can see just how bushy they are. And then on the left, we've got the main crop, the King Edwards. They're all looking pretty healthy. And here we have bed number 3. This hasn't got much in it at the moment, apart from these, which have cropped up. Some volunteer potato plants. This is where I grew my spuds last year, and you always miss a few little potatoes. and you get a few free plants coming up. Originally this was going to be the Brassica bed, but I explained in last week's episode why I wasn't going to do that anymore for this year. And if you haven't seen last week's episode, do go and watch it, because if nothing else, it's worth just seeing the difference between this week and last week. I've done a lot of work. It looks a lot nicer. So up here we do have something planted, and this is the Fruit de Ronde courgette. This was a freebie. Some strange circular courgette fruit is going to come off that one, which should be interesting. And next door we've got this, which is a giant winter leek, and I've let it go to seed. So hopefully that should flower soon, which I'm quite looking forward to actually. I don't really do much collecting seed, and I don't really know why, which is why I've left this one. And hopefully we'll get some viable seed and I can grow some more leek next year. Next, we have the onion bed. This is a mixture of onion sets and onion seedlings that, that I've actually grown from seed. And we've got Centurion and Sturon, they're the sets, traditional kind of onions. And down the middle, you should be able to see, we've got some little tiny seedlings that I planted out a few weeks ago. Did those in an episode. And these are Red Baron, which is a red onion. I've got a marigold right at the end there as well. Look, we're finally getting some flowers on the plot. So I'm really happy with these sets as well. With this warm weather, they've really come on quite nice. There's a lot of kind of breakages, and you kind of always get this in onions. They often look a little sorry for themselves, and you get these kind of splits like this one. It's a bit weird, but I don't tend to worry about it too much. They come good in the end, and I don't really think there's anything that you can do for it. If you do know what causes that, or if it's a problem, let me know, because I just ignore it. And here we have the freshly netted brassicas. These were only planted a few days ago, really, sort of 3 or 4 days. So they're still in their establishment phase, not done much, but they haven't died. And that's the good news. There's some that got mullered by a pigeon. You can see those here, but they're looking okay. They still haven't died. So I'm really excited, really happy with these, and it's nice. That was kind of a big job that was weighing on my mind a little. So it's really nice to get the net on and get those in. Over here, the garlic bed. How is the garlic doing? It's sort of a mixed success. The garlic is still very small, but one of the reasons for that is that these went in quite late. I think this was November, so I was really kind of cutting it fine with when they went in, just enough time to establish before the cold of the winter set in. And over on the left, we've got some extra early white, I think these are. And there was a real mix-up with these. I planted these in January because the website had mislabeled them when they were meant to go in. And we've got one down here that we've lost. I don't know what happened here, if a bird or something has got to that. And in the background you can see another one there, which is really just bent over. It's still alive, but it doesn't look right, does it? And the rest is kind of okay. This is all from the Isle of Wight garlic farm. Apart from at the end, we had a row that I just planted of kind of supermarket stuff, and they've all died, apart from this tiny little one, which looks like it's on its way out, to be honest, but not the end of the world. And it meant we got a little bit of space, so I've got some spare salad in there, a lettuce plant, which is great. Over here, the refuge area is looking really cool. I really like all this long grass. There's a wheelbarrow full of wood behind it, ignore that. Over here, we've got the L bed, the latest creation. That's still got nothing in it. Very soon, I'm gonna plant up the squashes, and I'm gonna, I think, have the cucumbers along the back, put in like not a trench, but I'm gonna pile up a load of compost from the compost pile along the back and put the cucumbers in those, and then put some string along these scaffolding poles to trail them up, which I'm really excited about. I think that'll look really nice. Over here, we've got a bit of space, which will eventually be where I want to put the pond in. That's always on the big job list. But hey, it's looking good, isn't it? It's looking pretty good. Apart from these, this is the one job that I've not done yet. The strawberries. And if you don't know, we've got a mix of 2 strawberries in here. There's an alpine strawberry. This is the one up close. It's gone all bushy and lovely, looking really healthy. And on the right, there's some traditional strawberries which were gifted to me. So they're a bit of a mixture and a bit of a mystery. I don't really know what's in here. And I'm not showing you too close in there because it's very weedy, and that's what I'm gonna do at the end of this video. Over here, the seating area looking a lot neater. And down here, the mini bed. I haven't shown you this season at all. And last year I grew a few kind of salad crops in here and it was quite nice. But this year I thought I'd turn it into a bit of a kind of wildflower patch. And I sowed a couple of wildflower mixes. And so far, nothing too shocking has come up, nothing too cool. And there's a lot of weed. Well, they're not weeds, but they're kind of undesirable, I guess. But I'm just leaving them. I decided to just go with this and let it go. This is a borage, which is not surprising. I'm surprised there's not more borage actually, because the borage plant really went crazy last year. This stuff is fat hen, which is actually edible. You can put this in your salad. I've never tried it. Chickens love it, which is why it's called fat hen. And this is just all over the allotment. It's everywhere. It's really common. Up here, we've got some nice common fumitory, I think, which is another, it's kind of thought of as a weed, but it's also, you find it in meadows and it's a really gorgeous flower. So I've left that one go because it's really nice. And hopefully, as the season goes, maybe I'll spot a few more things that were actually from the wildflower packs. But at the moment, it does mostly look like it's just weeds. So I am going to keep on top of this because if it does all go to flower, it's just going to, you know, it's not really what you want, is it? Just a weed bank spreading the weed throughout the rest of your plot. But over here we do have some pot marigolds, and these are kind of holding their own. These are doing okay. So hopefully some of those will come true and we will actually have some flowers that I planted in here. Oh, we've got also some leek. These are where my leeks are at the moment, in this little pot. And there's not many this year. I've not got too many in there, but my lovely fiance was complaining about how many leeks I was bringing home last year, so I decided to ease off on those a little bit. Up here, this little side strip along the greenhouse is always a bit of an annoying patch because the neighbour has moved out. So this is their old compost piles on the left and the nettles are just crazy, but I'll show you where I've put all those in a moment. But that's the beds. It's not looking too bad, is it? How are the apple trees? There's not too much to say about those, but let's go have a look. They're looking really good at this time of year. I'm really glad I've got them. I feel really lucky. They're just something really nice. I quite like to go and sit under the shade of them when I can. And down here we've got our blackberry bushes. This is a blackberry cultivar, which is thornless and just gives the most delicious fruit. I really kind of went to town on this last year over winter because it was just completely neglected and crazy. And we've got the first flowers on here. This is cool. I've not even noticed these until I've just come around with the camera. So that's really nice. And just up here, we've got the first little apples starting to form, which is great news. First apples on the tree. Oh, there's a little bit of a smile on my face. I'm so happy. It's such a good time of year. Down here, we've got two of the blackberry cultivar propagation attempts. Down here, I tried tip layering, and this one's come up lovely. You can see it's starting to come into leaf, and I'm really happy with this. So eventually, we should have 3 blackberry bushes, because down here, I did another method as well. And you can see this is in leaf as well. So I'm mulching these with a bit of grass clippings and just watering them while they're in these kind of early, still establishing phases. But other than that, they don't need much upkeep. Ah, the trees are great. I love these. Still got the cherry tree. Oh, that's all blossomed now. Oh, they're just lovely, aren't they? They're so nice to have. And you can see I've been strimming, kind of keeping on top of that as best I can. Should we go in the greenhouse? It's quite nice this time of day because it's quite shady, so we can actually talk a little bit in there without me suddenly going, oh my God, it's too hot, it's too hot. So we're in the greenhouse and not a lot has changed in here since last week's episode, really. The chili peppers are still looking great behind me. These are just such a joy at the moment. I was watching Niall Garden's recent video and he has loads and loads of tomatoes that have just gone into his polytunnel, and I was feeling really envious because I've not done tomatoes this year and I was getting a little bit of regret, but this is the reason. No tomatoes because I need the space for these chili peppers. Still small at the moment, but it won't be long until this greenhouse is bursting at the seams full of chili peppers. It's just so excited. I cannot wait. And every morning I have to come up and open the greenhouse. I keep thinking about installing one of those auto vents for the roof, but I kind of like not having one because it forces me to come up, and it's such a great start to my day. It's the first thing I do in the morning. Wake up, little 20-minute walk down a cycle track as well, so it's a nice walk. Lots of trees. And I come and sort of check on these guys, see how they're doing, and it just puts a smile on my face every single day. I love it. But that's really the big to-do, is getting these potted on. There's still maybe a week of kind of nutrients in those pots, but over here we've got some stuff that's sort of nearly ready to go out. Lots of marigolds and border plants that I might put in today, to be honest, after I finish filming. The squashes are still a little on the small side. I've got some butternut squash, some all sorts of squashes. I've showed those off before. There's a lot of spares in here which are kind of ready for the bin as well. So kind of it for the to-do list. It's pretty great when there's just one job on your to-do list, you know, and I don't even need to do it right now. So it's such a sweet spot at this time of year. I can just really sit back a little bit, just enjoy it, wait for a few things to come up till they're ready, then I can plant them out. Flowers to go out, that's just a joy, isn't it? Like, being able to plant flowers just feels like a luxury. So it's just maintenance. It's just trying to keep on top of everything, trying to keep it kind of weed free, and it's just great. So what I'm going to do now is just carry on enjoying it. There is one other thing that I just wanted to show, because I mentioned the nettles, and it's not new, it's not innovative, but in here I've got this old water butt. Oh god, that's heavier than I thought. Hang on. There we go. This old water butt that I've just filled at great danger to myself. I've got quite a few stings doing this. A little bit overconfident. And this should kind of rot down and make a really nice concentrated nitrogen-rich fertilizer. I'm not going to add water to this. A commenter on one of my videos told me that it's really good to just let it kind of rot down naturally. I might need to put some kind of weight on here to kind of push it all down and compress it, but that should be pretty good. The rest of the plot is looking, you know, these are still the corners that I don't show very often because they don't look too good, but the compost bays, mind you, they look much better, and there's a nice big pile of weeds and grass down there ready to go in, just drying out a little bit. This bit in particular just looked crazy last week, so that's me, I think. I think that's the plot. Is there anything else to do? I don't think so. I think it's time for me to crack open one of these. Did I bring cool packs all the way to the allotment? Yes. Did I also bring my own beer glass? Yes. So of course I love having the allotment, but it does feel like with the allotment comes just a permanent to-do list. You know, there's always something, and these moments are so few and far between where you can properly just sit back and enjoy kind of the fruits of your labour. There's no harvests yet, but it's just such a nice opportunity to be able to sit back and relax. So that's what I'm going to do. Thank you ever so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you again next time. Cheers.